breeze. He's live every day, decode amazing. JJ's cryptic corner, where the coins keep turning. Logging now, the future's burning. JJ's cryptic corner, JJ's cryptic corner. Pixels glow, charts flow, crypto whispers, secrets show. He cracks the code on this winding road. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic corner. JJ's cryptic. Tune in, lean back, grab your coffee, hit the track. JJ's live, don't be late. Cryptic wisdom, seal your fate. JJ's cryptic.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. I think today is Wednesday, right? What day is it? Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, that is correct. I was just joking. I knew exactly what day it was. What's going on, Gourmet Brands, 88, Metals Mania, HQZ Sales? How you guys doing? Let's see. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today, oh my gosh, I forgot to turn on one of my lights. Today, I got kicked out of my mom's, and I actually fastened this little guy. I'm hiding out in my local library right now. Just trying to stream for you guys, and I built myself a little house out of a couple of boxes that I managed to steal out of the back of a moving truck. So we're still good to go. We still got access to the internet via the library, my library card. So hopefully they don't shut the lights off when they close up for the night. But we got a lot going on today. Bitcoin currently trading at 66,794 and 72 cents. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. I am live, my friend. Yes, I am, Mr. Dixie. How you doing, sir? Happy Wednesday. Shout out to Home Depot. All right, we've got 67,046. 67,046. Appreciate the commitment, JJ. Absolutely appreciate you guys. We go all the way up to 70,114. I do it for the fans. 65,841. And the bottom of the bottom, for real though, if you guys could smash the like button, that would be sick. 64,142. Cool. All right, so that's our little range, our liquidation heat map range. If I sound a little funny, or if I look a little funny, this part of my lip is numb. I went to the dentist. I went to the dentist like 5 hours ago, and they really juiced me up with that numbing, because I still have like partial immobility in my lip. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. Literally, this whole part of my lip is just like, eh. Okay. Oh my goodness. So if I slur my words and stuff, I'm not drunk. Even though I wish I was. Anyways, Bitcoin 66,804. We are getting a little bounce here, it seems. There's a lot of geopolitical tension rumors going around that the U.S. and Iran aren't getting along and somehow Israel's involved or something. I don't know. Who knows, man? It might just be the algo feeding me a bunch of junk, but we did seem to dump pretty hard while everything else didn't. Bitcoin had a 2.24% negative candle today. It is up 0.53 since the daily close, so that's good. Dominance currently sitting at 58.66. We are potentially getting a little double bottom situation right here. Are we going to do that and then get our final rejection off of 59 and continue to the downside? Or are we going to break above 59 and continue to the upside? Time will tell. This is the stiletto pattern, as Crypto Face would call it. You got your heel and then the foot part. Is it going to go up from there? I don't know. Nobody knows. The market has transcended beyond technical analysis. But we're going to keep trying. I do have some polls for you guys, so good thing I did not forget that this time. Let's start with poll numero uno. How are we feeling about the Home Depot house? I actually spent more on masking tape than I did on the boxes because the boxes were stolen. I did have to buy the tape, though. They did not have any tape available for stealing. This is a parody, by the way. What are you doing with your portfolio today? Buying the dip, holding strong, selling, de-risking, or shorting the market. This is probably the ultimate bottom signal. I opened a short on the S&P 500. It's a hedge, and it is a ridiculously small amount of money. But it is a hedge. A little 2x short on Robinhood, even though I hate Robinhood. But you work with what you can. Anyways, dominance chilling. ETH up 0.5%. Guys, direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Appreciate you. ETH still can't get above 2K. It's really struggling with 2K for some reason. RSI broke below the moving average again. That was today specifically. We do have a red dot on the momentum waypoint to the downside. No positive money flow still. It's just we're in this weird, like, lingering limbo phase, it seems. Like, we got a nice swift bounce. This one was a little bit wider. A little Adam Eve action. And now this one's gone full. If we go up, then it would be an inverse BART. But what would it be otherwise? A stair step down? I don't know. It's a weird time in the market for sure. We've seen these lingering phases before, and we've played them out. But that was back when there was, like, liquidity and volume in the market, like actual money. And there doesn't seem to be that this time around. See, you get this double bottom, and then there's usually something happens. You get a double bottom, and this one dumped. You get a double bottom, this one kind of pumped. You get a double bottom, this one pumped, and then dumped. Right now, we're like double bottom, and then just straight sideways, flatlining. It's really weird. HQZ said Home Depot marks up a lot of items, small things like tape that you just grab and throw in the cart. That's probably where they make their most money, to be honest. Is stuff like that. I have been thoroughly enjoying, and I feel a little blasphemous saying this, but Amazon is great for crap like that. Like, oh, I guess I feel like I'm maybe supporting a little mom and pop like tape manufacturer. I don't know. Rather than like big tape, you know. 88 Metals Mania said the red line looks bigger than the green line. Red line is bigger than the green line. Where? Sure. Yes. John Chujo said just threw 5K at Cookie Dow. Seems like a mistake, lol. You could throw 5K at JJ's Cryptic Corner. Let's go take a look at Cookie Dow. I like the Cookie Dow. The conviction is commendable, my friend. You got a little triple bottom action going on. Whether or not that's going to hold is up for debate. $5,000. Let's see. You get a little choppy sideways, and then the stiletto, and then yeah. See, it's so hard to tell what's going to happen next, man. This thing, Cookie Dow. Why is Cookie Dow Cookie down? It's number 846. This is a micro cap at this point, $12.84 million market cap. This is actually a micro cap. It is 70% circulating, so that's not too bad. Not listed in a lot of places. Unlock progress. Yeah, see, I mean, you did just get an unlock, so there's potential, I suppose. The next unlock isn't until March 18th. So 5 grand. I don't know. Just be careful, man. Set a stop loss if you're in a trade. Otherwise, I don't know. That'd be cool if they could do some kind of stop loss situation with a spot portfolio. But look for some upside. I don't know if it's going to maintain that upside just because of these unlocks. I'm sure whoever's getting the bulk of this is probably going to dump their bags, but you never know. I'm not a financial advisor. Just, you know, I don't know. It's down since launch, and usually coins like that, I try to, I'm a little wary of. You can see clearly here where the volume and momentum was, and then it started to die off, and the chart becomes a lot more, the line becomes a lot less jittery, if you will. Look at how flat it was back here. That's crazy. That was at 2 cents. It's at 1. Yeah, see, it's less than it floored back here. So you do have the right idea, and I'm guilty right now of getting into that mentality of like, oh, the chart's down, so it doesn't look good. That's not true. When the chart's down, that's when you want to buy. It depends on whether or not you have conviction in the asset, but you do want to buy stuff that is down. That is the best time to buy. So it doesn't look bad. And the unlock, you got a couple weeks until the unlock, so just keep an eye on that March 18th timeline. My face is all funky. Okay, ETH. I really want to see ETH get above 2K. It's really struggling. I guess if we're going to continue the downside, let's see if 1900 holds. That's psychological, and we get a red dot in the momentum waypoint of the downside. Solana up 0.23% since the daily close. We got our Adam Eve that we're trying to justify here. We broke above. We got support once, kind of twice. We're going in for a third. It kind of looks like we're losing it, but we're also losing 82.47. I'm leaning heavily towards downside, but that seems silly because we've been so down and flat for so long. It just seems goofy to immediately assume downside. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, it's bearish, and then we're literally at the bottom. So I'm standoffish for several reasons, including the fact that everyone and their brother is insisting that we are entering or in a multi-year bear situation, to the point of the stupid 18-year real estate cycle coming up now and in conversation, which cracks me up. I don't know how long that takes to correct. Does it take another 18 years? I have no idea. Saeed said, hi, sir. How you doing, Saeed? Guys, I did check yesterday. Grok 4.2 is live, and this is the only profitable, according to all of the like AI trading contests we saw a couple months ago. This is the only profitable AI model in existence that I'm aware of when it comes to trading. So I want to ask it some questions. I want you guys to give me questions to ask Grok 4.2. I'm assuming we only get a certain quantity of questions. I'm not positive though. So make them good. Let me know in the chat what questions you want to ask Grok 4.2, and we'll run them by. Make them good ones though, and you can have multiple questions within the same message. And it'll give you, that's a good cheat code. Like, you are probably giving up a portion of your thinking power with that. But if you'd rather have one detailed question answered, or 2 or 3 slightly less detailed questions answered, let me know in the chat. Because I was throwing questions at it all night last night, and I thoroughly enjoyed the answers that it gave me. Solana 81.86. I want to get above and hold above 82.47. If we do continue the downside, though, I'm looking at 75 from a psychological standpoint. Although we do have kind of a baby uptrend right here, I'd call it. So maybe we stop and hold support around 79. I don't know. Reese said, with a bald head. There's no context there, Reese. I think you missed the first half of your the first half of your comment. Total 3 up 0.21% on the day. We still have the bouncer ants in perpetuity, if you will. Not a whole lot going on here. It just seems like a bear flag to me, man. There's nothing going on here, and it's kind of making me sad. Is it a ascending channel? That's actually worse, I think. It's literally what it is. So I'm not going to lie. It seems like this is going to break down. If it breaks up, we've talked about this before as well. Whenever a bearish pattern invalidates, it usually invalidates with vengeance. So this thing's either going to break down and be really long, depressing, boring downtrend, or it's going to explode to the upside if it invalidates. Now, in order to get that invalidation, I would want to see a chop up and then an eventual break above that trend line, retest, continuation. And this is the trend line that I'm referring to. And that would usually probably happen relatively fast. So, I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on it. Our RSI looks like it's rejecting the moving average. Point of the downside. Actually, right now it's trying to curl back up, but I'm not going to put too much stock in that. I'm okay with the idea of us bouncing here, but if we do, I don't think it'll be that long-lived. With a bald head. You did it again. Gourmet Brand said pick the up Soul at $80 today. Threw in cold storage and forgetting about it. Very nice. I like it. I like it. Good plan. Good plan. That's kind of the point that I've reached right now. Is I don't even think about my portfolio as like any kind of liquidity that I have access to. I've basically removed it from my brain. And I'm going to continue to blindly throw money into it along with everything else that I'm buying like a maniac. Pokemon cards, precious metals, my stock portfolio, all that junk. So it's a fun time. Focus on what you can control, then working more and getting dental work done, which is like really messing up my mouth. It's freaking me out. I'm not a fan. But yeah, let's see if this thing grinds back up off this lower trend line. We do have positive money flow on Market Cipher. And we are oversold on that momentum wave as well. So there's potential there. There's definitely potential. Tom Self-Scout said, my stocks are looking good. My crypto bags, not so much. Did you see the thumbnail? Cheers. Cheers, guys. We are broadcasting live from the public library, my cardboard house, freshly built via stolen cardboard boxes. Reese said, sell it all. Buy Zebek before 35 cents. Let's go take a look at Zebek. ZBCN. Beautiful. Nice sideways consolidation. Question is it going to break to the upside or not? We've seen the dump and then the recovery before and the choppy sideways. This one kind of went the way of boring, choppy sideways boringness. Is it going to do the same thing again? It's entirely possible. I'm not going to say yes or no. We've also seen the opposite happen, where you get the dump and the recovery and then the epic pump. So which one's going to play out is entirely up to the market. As of right now, looks like option A, the bad one, is playing out, but it's also a fractal and anything is possible. I do like these green dots down here, right at the Pico bottom. That would have been a beautiful buy. Currently sitting at 2. Can you get above 209 and eventually make your way towards 287? That's what I would look for. This does look coiled, and it does look like it wants to blast to the upside. You could see like the upwards bias is really starting to like push. I don't know. Tom Selleck-Scout said, Bitcoin explodes to the downside. Clarity Act might be done soon. Watch it get done and the market dumps and I cry. That would actually be really funny. That would be really funny. Reese said, soon it will fire to top 30. What's the catalyst for that? Because I am curious. It did just come out of, I mean, this was crazy oversold. That's a beautiful buying opportunity right there. I don't know. We'll continue to look at it. I like it. I'm a fan. ADA, up 0.66% on the day. We got our choppy sideways boringness. Eventually led into a big fat red downside candle, down 3.66% on that candle alone. Currently sitting at 27.53. Are we going to go retest 25? Or is there a uptrend here that we're going to attempt to obey? In which case, 26.22 actually looks like a perfect point of convergence right there, based on this October 10th wick from the alleged Binance situation. Reese said, last unlock and super app in the next 2 months. What is the super app? Also, guys, give me questions for Grok 4.2 in the chat. I need questions for Grok 4.2. I am going to cherry pick them, but I want you guys to ask the questions that you want to hear from Grok 4.2, and I'll ask. And speaking at XRP in Vegas. Okay. So they definitely have like proper marketing team and budget. That's actually great. Brilliant. So yeah, let's see if ADA gets a bounce off this 26 level. Struggling. I mean, ADA seems to be struggling more than anything. ADA's the master of struggling. Look at this. Broke below and just can't catch a break. Rejected and then eventually just got smacked down even more. Does JJ have a bald head? Ask Rock. I mean, I do. I think the community is aware. It's a $1,000. So I don't know if there's anybody new here. There's an ongoing thing where with the bald head. It has not been unveiled. Nobody has seen it yet. There have been AI images that people have rendered, and they look really funny. But nobody knows, is it like, am I bald? Is there just a bald spot? Am I completely bald on top with like the sides? Like what's going on? Is it completely shaved, like clean? Nobody knows. If you guys want to see a cumulative $1,000, will have to be accrued within one stream. It can be one donation of $1,000, or 10 of you guys can donate $100. I don't care. But if we reach $1,000 within any one stream, I will reveal the bald head instantaneously. As soon as that $1,000 threshold is reached, the hat comes off. There's no prep time. I'm not going to go, oh, hold on, guys, let me go do this. I'm going to take the hat off immediately. So if you guys are curious and you really want to see my bald head, I will prostitute the bald out. You guys can pay to see it. I guess, is it prostitute? It's more of a stripper. I don't know. JJ is clean shaven. I'd bet on it. No diddy. Gourmet Brand said, is there a correlation with Bitcoin rallying and with McDonald's being back the McRib? There is actually. There is a... oh, you want to ask that? That's actually a great question. Okay, let's do that one. Nobody else is asking any damn questions. Is there a correlation with Bitcoin rallying and the return of the McRib at McDonald's? All right, let's see. That's a great question. All right, SNEC is up 0.00%. Story of my life. Beautiful. Absolute nothingness out of the price right now. We got a little double bottom and then instantaneous choppy sideways boring market. RSI got a bearish cross over the moving average, and we have a red dot on the momentum wave point at the downside. Midnight up 0.56% on the day, currently trading at 0.057869. Not a whole lot going on here. We got a little double bottom action rejection at 6. Still struggling. That double bottom is horrible. It's right here. Still struggling to get above 6. And I guess 5.5 is holding really nicely. So let's see if that continues. We had a brief moment of positive money flow. We're back in negative. Red dot of the momentum wave point at the downside. And RSI is kind of coiling up with that moving average, but not a whole lot going on with that. XRP back below our shoddy neckline, I will call it. Let me actually, I can cherry pick and readjust this to make it fit our narrative. Hey, look at that. We're holding that as support. This is sloppy to begin with, which is why, you know, jokes aside, I'm okay with adjusting it. It's just a concept. I don't have any stock in it, to be completely honest. The idea was for it to be a potential sloppy Adam Eve double bottom with a breakout retest. We're on hit number 3 for that potential support line. So if that does hold, then there is upside potential. I'm not mad at this reversal candle right here. I'm just not a big fan of that out of nowhere, no news really, red candle to the downside. It just shows me that there's more downwards momentum ready to go. Saeed said, why do you need to wear goggles? I'm blind. I'm pretty much blind without my glasses. I have regular glasses, but with the ring light and stuff, the sunglasses are way nicer. And I think it looks cool. But that is why, yes. I've been pretty much blind since I was a kid. We had the old CRT monitor. I'm only 32, but we had the boob tube TV. It was all fuzzy looking. And I used to sit really close to it to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And my parents never believed me. I was like, I can't see. They're like, okay, you just want glasses. And I went to the eye doctor. They're like, yeah, no, his eyes are effed up. So I eventually got glasses, which was cool. But if they would have corrected my vision earlier, I don't think I would have as bad of eyesight. But Tom Selleck said, arrest Charles. Okay. We talked about XRP. Yeah, I mean, I want to get above $1.50. We're really struggling to get above $1.50. It's a big psychological level. If we continue to lose that, then I suppose 125 will be the next level to look for. He wears his sunglasses at night so he can see. I wear my sunglasses at night. H-bar, not a whole lot going on here. We broke below the psychological support level of 10. We're at 9948, so not the end of the world yet. I guess if we start to get consecutive daily and weekly closes below this, then I'll be a little butthurt, but we'll see what happens. Mr. Robert said, hey, JJ, how you holding up in the bear? Holding up pretty good, actually. Been just working, man. Working and streaming for you guys. Cheers. A lot of coffee. Oh, I'm assuming you noticed, I was kicked out of my mom's, and I am now living in a cardboard box house that I made out of stolen boxes in the library, the local library. So thanks to the local library for leaving the lights on, even though I'm not supposed to be here. They don't know that I'm here. I think lights are on a motion detector, which is why they haven't shut off yet. The police are probably on their way. Okay. Kwame said, what's up, JJ? What's going on, Kwame? So let's see what said copyright strike. If it's been 100 years, then it's public domain. Oh, man. I know it's not a 100-year-old song. That was the joke. All you 100-year-old folks in the chat just got really butthurt. 100 years? That song came out when I was in high school. SWE had some news today. I believe somebody filed for a SWE ETF, staking ETF or something like that. There is a precedent being set right here for this trend line. I kind of like that. We had support, break, resistance, break, support. I don't mind that. This is very similar to the one on XRP. A little Adam Eve, breakout, retest, confirmation. I don't know. Let's see if we hold it. If we break below it, then look for probably 85 or 75. 75 would be my next big psychological level. Let me put it on there just because. Whoops. That's not what I meant to do. 0.75. Now watch Swede's going to $75. Can you ask Grok if we're going to war? Yeah. Okay, first, let's get our Grok answer. I asked Grok, per Gourmet Brands, is there a correlation with Bitcoin rallying and the return of the McRib at McDonald's? Grok said, yes, there's a well-known, but entirely spurious, what does that word mean, and meme-based correlation joked about in crypto circles called the McRib indicator, or a McRib effect. It stems from observations that in several years since 2017, Bitcoin's prices rallied or hit notable highs around the time McDonald's brings back its limited time McRib sandwich, a boneless pork patty. Don't call it a pork patty. It's good until you call it a pork patty. What the hell is a pork patty? And barbecue sauce on a roll. Crypto traders and memes playfully treat the McRib return as a bullish signal, with posts like "McRib is back, Bitcoin to the moon." I like that it says playfully treat. This is how you know 4.2 isn't fully fleshed out, because people definitely treat it like it's this is a religion, man. There's nothing playful about it. People actually bet their life savings on the return of the McRib. I know this because I've done it. Anyways, October 2017, McRib returns, Bitcoin rallies from 4K to 20,000. Oh my gosh. December 2020, nationwide McRib return. Bitcoin breaks 20K shortly after and kicks off a major bull run. November 2021, McRib back. Bitcoin hits all-time high near 69. Let's go. Though it peaked right around then and later corrected. October, November 2023, McRib relaunch. Bitcoin rebounds strongly from 27K toward 45K. Another 100% gain. December 2024, McRib returns. Bitcoin pushes past 100K for the first time. Dude, the McRib indicator is the best indicator. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Are you crazy? We gotta buy the McRib. Wow. Who can we pay and McDonald's corporate to give us insider info of the McRib return schedule? That's amazing. Ondo up 0.91%. We are getting a little baby rally here. I got an alert earlier that Arrow was down, so Coinbase was a little butthurt about that. Avalanche 0.56. Avalanche and Chainlink are really struggling for some reason. It's kind of freaking me out. Doge not doing a whole lot. Big news on Doge from Coinbase, actually. I believe Doge, Litecoin, XRP, and Cardano can all be used as collateral to get loans directly from Coinbase, which I thought was really cool. 88 Metals Mania said, wait, when's the McRib release now? Let's actually ask regular Grok that question. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. How do I undo this? God. Oh, God. Okay. All right. When does the McRib come back to McDonald's next? It's gonna be like 2028. That would be so messed up, dude. I would rage quit if the McRib was scheduled to not come back until 2028. I would leave. McDonald's is in on it. Come on, November 2025. That's not even this year. No announcements found? Likely returns in fall? Okay. That's exciting. Dude, he's digging through corporate.mcdonalds.com. Grok is just hacking the McDonald's mainframe. Come on, baby. Okay. Not available at McDonald's in the U.S. as of February 2026. The most recent was in November 2025. At select locations, there was no official announcement yet for 2026 return date. McDonald's treats the McRib as a limited time item. It typically announces returns closer to the time, often the fall, October through December. Get out! Get out! Are you kidding me? October? Guys, this dude works at McDonald's. This guy works at McDonald's. October 5th, according to this guy's math, October 5th, 364 days from October 6th, is when apparently the McRib is supposed to return, as well as the bull market. That's crazy. They're ridiculous. Grok is a psyop, man. Anyways, we went over all the cool news that I knew off the top of my head. Gold. The fractal for gold is a little bit lopsided at the moment, but it's not awful. Obviously, increased risk of geopolitical tensions between the United States and Iran. Satoshi equals Ronald McDonald. That's going to probably spur a risk-off situation if that does happen. Those are rumors. That's crazy with McRib rallying right before midterms. Dude, that would be so sick, honestly. McRib rally right before midterms. It kind of makes sense. What if Donald Trump tries to strong arm? He tries to strong arm McDonald's into bringing back the McRib. He's just doing everything. He's like, we're gonna change the celestial bodies to line up with astrology, and the McRib. McDonald's is bringing the McRib back. We have cloned Harambe, and we are going to print money, lower interest rates, and send out stimulus checks. That would be the ultimate bull market. The Harambe astrology McRib stimmy bull market would be crazy. I'm making a calendar note on the launch. Oh, 1,000. Dude, we're doing a McRib portfolio. I hope you guys know. We will build a McRib portfolio. We got 9 votes in the poll. I'm going to end the poll right now. We're getting on to poll number 2. Before I continue, you guys can take a look at gold. I asked you guys, what are you doing with your portfolio today? 56% of you guys said holding strong. 44% said buying the dip. 0 said selling / de-risking. That's what I like to hear. And 0 said shorting. Interesting. I would not have guessed that. Next poll we've got. This one's going to be a good one. A little contentious potentially. Which asset will perform the best by the end of the week? Now, tomorrow, I think, is the last day for the stock market. Bitcoin, gold, and silver, S&P 500, or cash. Cash is king always. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Appreciate you guys for being here. Don't forget to smash the like button. We are broadcasting live from the local library where I have constructed myself a beautiful, brought to you by Home Depot, not sponsored, cardboard box house, because the struggle is real. Mr. Robert said I'm going 5x long on a 2026 summer McRib revival. Ooh, that would be crazy. Dude, is there a Kalshi market for the McRib? Because that would be awesome. Guys, if you haven't already and you guys are curious about being potential degenerate gamblers like I am, consider signing up with Kalshi with my link in the description. When you sign up there and deposit and trade with $25 or more, we both receive $25 in non-withdrawable site credit. It's a lot of fun, but it is gambling. Treat it as such. Make sure you, if you do decide to actually do that, read the rules very in depth of every bet that you take, because sometimes it's a little funky. CoinMarketCap Fear and Greed is at 11. Yesterday it was at 12, so we're we're one more scared than we were yesterday. Subscribe if you haven't already. Top 10 looks identical to what it looked like yesterday. I'm still waiting. Actually, that's not true. I think Tether flipped XRP. Am I wrong? I don't know. We'll have to take a look at that a little closer. Gold. Let's talk about gold. Everyone look at my poll. Gold 49.66. Let's see. We are up, down. We are down 0.19% on the day. The question is tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. So we got tomorrow and Friday for this thing to potentially rebound. Tomorrow we could see a little baby dip, but I'm kind of counting on. We got our hump right here, obviously, our lump and our bump. This guy I'm gonna say is this, which was this. So those all correlate. They align. The next move would be up. Now there are a little small. If we want to get really picky, there are interim moves within this dip, so there could be some volatility there if we're going 1-to-1 for the whole situation, but we'll see what happens. RSI looks good. If we were even remotely considering market cipher, we got a green dot, the momentum wave point to the upside. Money flow has been positive for forever, every single time so far, especially with geopolitical tensions kind of growing. Every time we've seen a dip in the momentum wave on gold, it has quickly rebounded and resulted in a positive momentum wave, sometimes bigger than others. This is the only one that didn't. We got a little dip and then a bigger dip. Is that going to result in a bigger rip? Time will tell. Reset ahead a sell 5K. That pulse play said Ray up again. Let's go take a look at Ray after we look at silver. Silver's down 0.15% on the day. Dance at around 77. 77 is my previous top estimate, and we went a little bit higher than that. We went to about 82-ish, and then we kind of lingered, and then we eventually popped off of what looks like 74 or 73 support bounce. So that's what it eventually sent us to that 126 something level, which is kind of funny. It is Bitcoin's top is 126K. Silver's top is like $122, which is kind of cool. I thought it was 126. My bad. 77. Yeah. Let's see if we hold this. It's interesting to see us get up there and then actually kind of create a shelf for the second time. I was not expecting 77 to have any correlation besides my guess, but it clearly has something. Obviously, maybe it's a lucky number. Maybe silver traders are very superstitious. Forex XAU USD 5K to 49.65. Nice. Yeah, if you guys are not familiar, crypto does have gold and silver real world asset like pegged coins. If you guys are interested, it's actually quite cool. I'm very excited for the tokenization of everything, because like crypto to me is fun because I can do it when I get home off work. I can mess around, whatever. Maybe fun's not the right word, but I'm Italian and Italians have gambling problems. You know, sue me. Don't actually sue me. I have no money. I'm a gambler. But I'm excited for the stock market as a whole, or even just global commodities, investments, anything that you can put your money into. Global equities coming on chain and going 24 hours, because it'll just open the entire market to the world. You don't have to have $1 million to trade after hours, or there's no BS weird like, well, you can't play this unless you pay us, unless you're filthy rich already. Pay to win bullcrap that is currently in traditional markets that basically gets washed away with tokenization. So regardless of whether or not crypto succeeds, blockchain tech will succeed, and I'm excited for that. Our ISM manufacturers PMI comes in at the beginning of March. which is exciting. That is 12, what is that? 10, yeah, that's 12 days away. 12 days from now, we will get a new ISM manufacturer's PMI print. If that comes in above 50 and above 52.6, things might heat up pretty quick in like a fun way, which is very exciting. So let's see what happens. Jobs numbers are weird. Everything else is weird. So let's see if the weird cake can be completed with the weird cherry on top, which is ISM manufacturer's PMI coming in above 52.6. That would be sick. DXY 97.669. It is very quickly reclaiming its 15-year trend line. We talked about this 15-year trend line. It's a big deal that we lost it twice now. We got several candles closing below it. I don't know where it's going to go from here, man. It's going to be weird. I guess what I'm going to look out for is Friday's close for the DXY. 15 years ago, April 2011, we established this trend line, and then we touched it again in this like springtime of 2020, 2021. Springtime of 2021. And then most recently, September 2025, we got our third double bottom, and then we kind of rejected this previous support back here. We got below it, rejected once, double bottom, rejected again, and blasted right past that 15-year trend line. So it's a big deal that we're down here. It's good for the DXY that we're back above it, and we want the DXY to dump for our portfolios. As you know, working Joes doing a 9 to 5, we don't want the DXY to pump or to dump. So it's a mixed bag. It's kind of a hedge if you really think about it. Like our bags won't go up as elegantly as they have in the past if the DXY pumps, but our dollar will be worth more. So it's almost like a kind of a hedge situation. Tom Selleck said CPI will be interesting. Moves will be made. I'm right now very hyper focused on the stupid Iran junk. I don't know why we have to continuously. It's the same story every single time. Every single time. I don't know how many more times this can happen till everyone on the planet is like, we don't care. You know, we said y'all still work. Have you seen the market, my guy? Yes, we still work. I don't think I would quit anyways. I enjoy my job. Life is boring, man. And boring life is a privilege. Okay. We talked about this McRib indicator. Give me another question for Grok 4.2. McRib not currently available. We talked about that. Let's go into the news segment after we go through NASDAQ and DXY. Oh yeah, I was supposed to take a look at Ray. Let me go take a look at Ray really quick. Oil making some moves. Yeah, that's on the Iran-US junk. Ridiculous. What's driving me crazy is that's happening, and silver and gold can't be bothered. So this thing's still playing out with this beautiful pattern. Very easy to spot. Whoops. Hopefully it plays out all the way. That would be awesome. Look at this. 42.83% candle. Wow. Currently today it's up 3.23%, but from the Pico low right here, you'd be up 273% if you would have bought that. That's crazy. So just be careful. Obviously this can play out again. Maybe it does really good and then it takes a poop. Does really good and then it takes a poop. You know. So just be careful. Obviously, the fractal's not gospel, but we are excited that it is doing good. You got some bearish div on the 4-hour, or I'm sorry, on the daily RSI. Your RSI is lower while your price is higher, so be careful. Obviously, you'd need a rejection from the current price level in order for that to actually play out properly for a divergence, but for now, it is present in the chart, and it's possibly becoming validated anytime now. Talked about the DXY. We are back above the 15-year trend line. We're going to continue to monitor this. It's a very sensitive situation. If we get above 98, then there's a potential for a solid recovery. So far, I see a bear flag here, man. This is a bear flag. So breaking down would be ideal. Time will tell. RSI is... See, there's bearish div here too. If we reject, definitely bearish div. And that's a good kind of bearish div, which points to higher RSI, lower price over a longer period of time. So we'll see what happens, man. Again, I don't know if you can do TA on the DXY. the way that we do TA on other assets, but we're going to point it out anyways. And it is technically overbought on the momentum wave on Market Cipher as well. Strategy, aka Big B Coffee, 125.19. A lot of folks coming in and buying Strategy the last couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. Vanguard bought on January 20th. That was the first big, like, whoa, what's going on kind of situation. I don't remember who bought yesterday. Was it Charles Schwab? Doubled their holdings in Strategy yesterday. So that was a big deal. 125.19, not a bad price. We also, I personally bought some Bitmine yesterday, $20. Decent price in my opinion. It is sitting on the lower half of a beautiful triangle right here. Falling wedge, if you will. Not a lot of confluence on that lower trend line, so it's up in the air. But usually whenever we're trading crypto specifically, we see a beautiful move like this. The first move is always the false move. I always look for a breakout in that direction, and then I wait for the breakout in the opposite direction, because at any time I've seen a triangle that breaks to the upside first, it eventually falls below and just crashes. Breaks to the downside first, it'll come back up, retest, and continue to the upside. I've seen that 9 times out of 10. It's crazy how many times they do a fake out with a falling wedge or symmetrical triangle. So I'm not saying that that's what prompted my buy on Bitmine. It's a gamble, complete gamble. Tom Lee has a ridiculously, insanely large amount of ETH, and he's investing privately in Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast is, regardless of how you feel about him, the largest content creator on the planet. So to fade Bitmine, it's because crypto's not doing that great right now, just seems silly to me, just in my opinion. I would much rather just like throw some money in it and risk that going down, even disappearing, than miss out on the potential opportunity that it provides with the risk reward. NASDAQ actually playing really nicely into our estimate right here. And that estimate is actually based on this move right here, this weird, the dump, the choppy upside, and then the pump, and then the continuation. Right now we got dump, choppy, upside, pump, and then eventual continuation. That's our hope. It's a weird gamble, so don't judge. Clearly we're gambling today. That's all we're doing. Mr. Robert said, I'm reviving a Savage XRC Nitro truck, and the exhaust in the workroom rivals the high in the shed. Rivals the high in the shed. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny, actually. I don't know. I'm assuming, I've always assumed everyone's like this. I've thoroughly enjoyed the smell of gas since I was like a child. I don't know if it's like a caveman thing where my brain smells it and it's like, ooh, I like this thing that makes me less cognitively functionable. I have no idea, but that's funny. It's funny. Okay. NASDAQ 24,914. Can we get back above 25K is a question. I like where we're going. We got some like bullish momentum, it seems. You know, we get a little spike, a little downturn, spike, downturn. Are we just going to go into another spike again tomorrow? I don't know. We got 2 more days of the week. Positive money flow on Market Cipher. Again, I don't know if that applies to stocks, but we're going to talk about it anyways. Green dot still in play, looking good. Almost overbought on that money flow, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. We got a bullish crossover the moving average in the RSI on Tuesday that is still in play. We're looking good, man. Looking good. Tom Selleck Scott said it's because you're a drug addict. How'd you know? Was it the box? That's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. What if that offended me? S&P, $6,881.32. 68.65 was the open on Tuesday, January 20th. TNT Media said, yo, man, what up? Did you see those calls for 15 to 20K gold? 5 times normal total volume. Do they know what's going to happen? I actually did see that. We talked about that yesterday in the news segment. That was pretty beefy. I could probably pull it up here. Or maybe it's in today's news segment, and I lied. Is it in today's? I do remember what the chart looked like. It might not be in today's. It might be in yesterday's. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Whoopsie. Okay, let's go back, see if I can find it, because that was pretty crazy. Somebody's putting a ridiculously large amount of money betting that gold is going to be 15 to 20K by December. Nope. 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 It is... I can see the chart in my head. We did talk about it yesterday as well. Definitely not going to be Cointelegraph, is it? That'd be funny if it was. Where is the thingy? It's got to be Kobayashi letter, I think. Global hedge funds, right there. This is unusual. A large investor has been buying December gold call option spreads of 15 to 20K on the COMEX exchange. This means gold prices would have to triple from current levels by late 2025 for the trade to expire in the month or in the money and pay off. The trade can also profit from a sharp rally or a spike in gold volatility well before the expiration of these options. The position started building after gold prices hit a record 5,600 in the last week of January. Even after gold prices fell below 5K, the buyer of these calls has continued to accumulate contracts, with open interest surging to 11,000 contracts. Someone is betting on a near-term violent move higher in gold. So somebody has a ridiculously large amount of money, and they are gambling that gold is going to increase in value, which is pretty sick. Okay. I guess my only, the only reason I'm standoffish with anything like that is because we watched several people, especially in the past year, place like crazy bets on the market, one direction or the other, and they get destroyed. The market chews them up and spits them out every single time. So that's the first time we've seen one with gold and silver. So I'm gonna take that with a little more conviction than anything else, because everything else is very more, like, compared to gold and silver, it's very risk on. But gold and silver is supposed to be the hedge against risk. So anyways, S&P 6881. Are we going to I don't know, there's potential for one more downtrend before mid-Friday, so that wouldn't surprise me. Maybe we start coming back up at the end of the day on Friday. And then Monday we get a little spicy. Tuesday we get a little downturn. And then the rest of it plays out the way that it's supposed to play out. This is the Fractal 3.0, in case you guys are not familiar. Fractal 1.0 and 2.0 were spot on, like 90% accurate. Fractal 3.0 so far I'd say is about 75. I'm going to go with 65. Just to be fair, 65, 70% accurate. So we'll see if we recouple with that, or if we do continue to linger sideways and then eventually drop. That'd be crazy, but we've seen crazier things, that's for sure. Outside of that, I'm happy to be above 68. Can we get above 69 again and start closing above 7K? Justin Crypto's OG said THC is not a drug. Okay. I think that's actually a fact at this point. Depends on who you ask. Bitcoin, $66,850 and 1 penny. We're getting a little baby recovery here. This big fat red candle, though, has me a little spooked. Is it going to be the same thing as this? Probably. But that just resulted in further downside, too. So even if it is the same thing as that, it's, not really that big of a deal as far as positivity goes. Let's get to the news segment. We've got Nancy Pelosi's stock tracker. As rumors swirl of a possible U.S.-Iran conflict, keep an eye on these politicians buying war stocks within the last 3 months. Mark Wayne Mullen bought Raytheon. He sits on the Senate Armed Services Committee. RTX is at an all-time high. 2. Gil Cisneros. Who are these people winning? They have like evil villain names. Who's voting for these evil villain name people? Bought RNMBY, AeroVironment, AVAB, and Raytheon, RTX. He sits on the House Armed Services Committee. Roger Williams bought Raytheon. He sits on the Subcommittee on National Security. Watcher Guru posted, billionaire Peter Thiel fully exits Ethereum treasury firm ETHZilla sells entire stake. That is freaking crazy. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon says he owns a small amount of Bitcoin, but is watching it closely. That's actually pretty cool. Eric Trump says Bitcoin will reach $1 million. I've never been more bullish on Bitcoin in my life. So Bitcoin, in turn, is probably going to zero. Because every time Eric Trump is bullish on it, it does a very bad job. OpenAI launches benchmarking system to help secure crypto tokens and smart contracts. That's weird. President Trump says U.S. will have its first trade surplus in decades because tariffs cut deficit by 78%. That's crazy. Fed minutes came out. Highlights. Fed minutes show several officials said further rate cuts would likely be appropriate if inflation continues to decline as expected. Fed minutes said almost all participants supported January rate pause. Fed several saw more cuts if inflation declines as expected. Most cautioned disinflation could be slower than expected. Outlook for activity was stronger than in December. Tom Selleck said, I've been buying AV for a year. Drones are the future of war. Our cat is more risky, but also drones. Okay. I like it. My war hedge is just shorting the S&P 500. Endgame Macro posted. Oh my gosh. Do I read this whole thing? Is that crazy? I'm going to do it. We got oil, gold, and silver going up while Bitcoin goes down. Endgame Macro said, Bitcoin is being treated like leverage while gold gets treated like collateral. When oil, gold, and silver rip higher on geopolitical headline and Bitcoin sells off at the same time, most people reach for the explanation that it's risk off. That's not quite it. What you're seeing is a collateral hierarchy event. Energy is reacting energy is reacting to a real supply risk shock. Metals are moving as geopolitical and sovereignty hedges, and Bitcoin is trading like a leveraged risk position. And the one people cut first when funding conditions tighten and leverage gets more costly. Why higher oil doesn't mean risk on. Start with oil. Oil is risk premium, with markets assigning a higher probability to distribution. That flows straight into inflation risk. Inflation risk flows into the bond market as term premium. You can see it in the broader setup where long end yields staying sticky. What? Bitcoin usually does best when real yields are falling and liquidity is getting easier. Right now, it's the opposite. Even if the oil spike is only short term, it still lifts near term inflation risk, which keeps long yields under upward pressure and tightens financial conditions. Gold can still rally in that mix because it's a proven geopolitical hedge and reserve asset. Bitcoin often can't because the marginal buyer is more leveraged and funding sensitive. The collateral stack explains the divergence. The market structure mechanics make it worse. My take, even if the oil spike is short-lived, it still lifts the near-term inflation risk and tightens conditions when it lasts, hitting consumers and margins at the same time delinquencies. CRE stress and refinancing pressures are already rising, so markets can float for a bit, but the setup gets more fragile. That's also why Bitcoin is diverging, because in this kind of tape, gold and silver get bought as accepted crisis hedges, while Bitcoin trades like leveraged liquidity exposure and is often the first thing to cut. They repeated themselves like 5 times. So basically, Bitcoin's getting cut because nobody gives a shit about it as an inflation hedge. It's a bad inflation hedge. Stablecoin mint 1 hour ago. Another 500 million USDC issued on Solana. Very cool. Rolling month 8.57 billion. Solana is being prepared for mass agentic economy and payment adoption on Clarity. I don't know if Clarity is going to pass this year, man. Again, I don't know if I'm peak pessimist right now, but with this stupid Iran, United States bullshit, I don't think we're getting Clarity. I don't think anybody gives a shit about Clarity right now. Kobe yesterday later posted, breaking, President of European Central Bank Christine Lagarde is expected to resign before the end of her 8-year term. That's actually kind of crazy. Per Axios, there is evidence that U.S. war with Iran is imminent, and Israel is preparing for a scenario of war within days, which is expected to include, I don't know why they have like a schedule for this war. 1, weeks-long, full-fledged war, unlike the Venezuela operation, sources say. 2, joint U.S.-Israeli campaign that is much broader in scope than 12-day war in June. 3. U.S. Armada now consists of 2 aircraft carriers, 12 warships, hundreds of fighter jets, and multiple air defense systems. 4. More than 150 U.S. military cargo flights have moved weapons systems and ammunition to the Middle East. After 50 fighter jets in 24 hours, another 50 fighter jets in 24 hours, including F-35s, F-22s, and F-16s, oil prices are surging above $64 a barrel on the news. That's pretty crazy. I enjoy the idea of them being like, we're not doing war, and them actually not doing war, and then us just having to foot the bill, probably like hundreds of billions of dollars in gas to get all of this crap around Iran, just for them to be like, never mind. So now, as like a cheap bastard, you feel obligated for war to happen because you paid for the gas, but I don't know, it's all icky. All of it's icky, dude. War is bad, okay? Let's move on. Institutional investors have rarely been this bearish on the US dollar. US dollar net exposure by global fund managers is down to minus 35 points, the lowest in at least 14 years. This is below the April 2025 bottom when President Trump surprised markets with Liberation Day. By comparison, the start of 2025 net exposure was plus 30 points, one of the highest readings on the data in the data set. Furthermore, 87% of the fund managers surveyed anticipate central banks worldwide to continue reducing their dollar holdings in their foreign reserves. The US dollar is facing historic bearish sentiment. This one's kind of funny. The U.S. is facing a major cattle shortage. U.S. cattle and calves inventory is down to 85 million, the lowest since 1951, according to the USDA. The herd has shrunk by 45 million from the 1975 peak of 130 million and 10 million since June, or I'm sorry, I don't even know where I got that word from, since 2020. Jeez. As a result, beef and veal prices rose 15% year over year in January, marking one of the fastest increases in the food basket. By comparison, chicken prices rose just 1.1%, while milk prices were roughly unchanged. At current herd levels, even if ranchers begin expanding, the new supply would not reach grocery shelves until 2028 at the earliest. The U.S. cattle crisis is driving beef inflation to unprecedented levels. I guess I don't find myself buying beef that frequently to really be bothered. I understand it's probably a really big deal, like down the road. Bitcoin 671 and 61 cents. Not a whole lot going on. Let's ask Gronk a question really quick. Do you think that Bitcoin and the broader cryptocurrency market is going by the traditional 4-year cycle? Or does the liquidity / business cycle hold more water? What do you think will happen with the market this year? Let's see what Grok says. Give me an in-depth analysis on the 4-year cycle, the liquidity and business cycle, and just what you think Bitcoin and crypto are going to do in 2026. We got 4 agents. That's adorable. They're like little Minecraft profile pictures. Spot gold surges above 5K and silver surges above 78 as U.S.-Iran tensions escalate. That was 11 hours ago. Things have since apparently calmed down. Breaking, 29% of U.S. home buyers paid with all cash in December 2025, the lowest for any December since 2020. This marks the second annual decline and the steepest drop since 2012 to 2014. By comparison, the 2023 peak was 33.7% when mortgage rates hit the high 7% range. That's crazy. 7% is freaking insane. Furthermore, sellers outnumbered buyers by a record 47%, making the strongest buyer's market in at least 13 years. Is the housing market finally starting to normalize? Yeah, right. I'll believe it when I see it. All right, what do you guys think of this current poll? We got 11 votes. Let's do poll number 3. I think I got a third one for you guys. I asked you guys. Let's end it. Bam. I do have a third one. Okay. Which asset will perform the best by the end of the week? 37% of you guys said Bitcoin. 36% said the S&P 500. 18% said gold and silver. 9% said cash is king always. Let's do one more poll. You guys have been killing it. I appreciate you guys. Do you think the U.S.-Iran escalation will cause a large market crash? Yes, this is the beginning. No, the market priced it in already. I have no idea what's going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. I ask you guys if you think the U.S.-Iran escalation will cause a large market crash. You can say yes, no, or you have no idea. Those are your options. Let's continue our news segment. Non-asset owners are being left behind. U.S. consumer sentiment among non-stockholders stands at near its lowest level in at least 8 years. This metric has been in a downtrend for 6 straight years. At the same time, sentiment among the largest stockholders is up to the highest in 12 months. The gap between the two groups has widened to about 15 points, the highest since 2024. By comparison, in 2018 to 2022, sentiment between the groups moved in lockstep: own assets or be left behind. Which I will say, as far as hedge against inflation goes, owning anything but cash, as long as it's liquid, seems to be a winning strategy. I went from a paycheck to paycheck person without like getting any significant raise or anything at work, or increasing my hours or anything. I've actually decreased my hours, to being able to take time off work and kind of pick and choose what I want to do. Literally just by like budgeting and investing properly. It's really, it's crazy how big of a difference it can make. I know I've plugged it 1,000 times. It's free if you have Amazon Prime and Audible, but there's a book linked in the description by J.L. Collins. It's called The Simple Path to Wealth. The TLDR of the book, the main 3 steps: avoid debt, live on less than what you earn, and invest the surplus. It's not crazy. It's not sexy. There's no like day trading secret. You literally just have to accumulate wealth slowly, and don't spend more. Don't live above your means. It sounds really simple and dumbed down. It almost sounds out of touch when you say it, but it's really that easy. And unfortunately, nobody wants to do that. Everyone wants to enjoy everything. They want to spend all of their money all the time. Why shouldn't I be able to do this, and that? And sometimes you got to pivot. You got to enjoy other things that don't cost money, and just put your nose to the grindstone, get shit done, hustle for like a year, and you'll be set for so long. It's crazy how big of a difference just like focusing on one thing for a short period of time can make in your life. It blows my mind. The 60-plus day delinquency rate on U.S. subprime auto loans is up to a record 6.9%. Serious delinquency rates have more than doubled since 2021. This exceeds the 1996 peak by 0.9 percentage points. For context, the 2008 financial crisis high was 5.0%. Meanwhile, total auto debt is up $312 billion over the last 5 years to a record $1.67 trillion, driven by surging vehicle prices. Subprime financing makes up for around 14%, or $234 billion of all auto loans. Americans are falling behind on their car debt at a record pace. I will say, I was 19 years old when I bought my first new car, and that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in my entire life. Because I was a dumb kid. You know, I just wanted to drive around and like smoke pot with my friends. And I lost my job, and then I couldn't make payments for like 2 months, got another job. I called the loan people. I was like, hey, I lost my job for a little while, but I have a job now. I'm going to make payments. I just made one payment. I know I'm behind a month. Please don't repossess my car. I'm calling you to let you know I'm going to be paying again. They're like, okay, I'll put a note on your file here to not send to repossession. 2 weeks go by. And I get a knock at the door. I was so lucky. My car was full of my stuff. I had like a new iPad in there. That was when they were really expensive and like hard to get. And as these 2 young kids, they're like, we're here to repossess your car. Can you sign this? And they had me like sign something. I was like, damn. And I was like, do you guys just want the keys? They're like, yeah, they'll make it easier. And I was like, okay. They're like, do you want to get stuff? Do you need to get anything out of it? I was like, yeah, please. They let me unpack it and everything, but it was crazy. And then by the way, I got fired that day. Like I got to work like 2 minutes late. My boss was sitting outside and he's like, I gotta let you go, man. And I was like, my car got repossessed. It was crazy. It was such a mess. Like the most cliche, like completely unhinged, irresponsible situation you could ever imagine happened to me on that day. It was like a sitcom, like an episode from some drama. It was so stupid. But because of that, I got a job at a place that I love, and I'm still working there to this day. It's been over a decade, which is pretty damn cool. So thank you, pissy, fat ass boss guy who fired me. Probably still working there. Anyways, I don't know. I've ever since then I've been I don't want to finance a car ever in my entire life. So if I ever do buy a brand new car again, I will probably pay cash, and that'll be if I have like FU money. But until then, I'll continue to just buy like beaters and fix them up myself. I've had so many cars that I've spent very little money on last so damn long. It's crazy. As long as you give them a good detailing, you can have a nice car for really cheap. Some people don't want to put the time and effort into it, and I totally get that as well. U.S. is withdrawing all forces from Syria, according to the Wall Street Journal. This one came as a surprise. They're sending all of those forces to Iran, apparently. Global bond market returns are deteriorating. 87% of bonds worldwide currently trade at a yield below 5%. In fact, 14% of bonds yield less than 2%, 32% less than 3%, and 60% less than 4%. With inflation running near around 3%, this means the vast majority of bond investors are earning just a 2% real return per year, while roughly 1/3 are effectively earning nothing. That's crazy. With inflation running near, I read that already. This also does not factor in transaction costs or taxes. By comparison, 18.4 trillion of global bonds had negative yields in 2020 before falling to zero in early 2023. Are global bond markets gradually heading back toward sub-zero yields? What would be the point at that point, you know? Carvana stock, CVNA, falls over 20% after reporting its lowest gross profit per unit in 8 quarters. That's crazy. I think that, I don't know if the car market's just this volatile or if I've just recently started paying attention, but I feel like every week I see like record used car prices. Used car prices are skyrocketing. And then a week after that, they're like, dealerships have full lots and can't sell enough inventory. And I'm like, it's like up and down every other day. It's crazy. So I don't know. Carvana is one of the most surprising ones to me. I don't know what they make on top of it, but just the idea that people are willing to pay such a premium just to get like the right color or right trim package in their used car kind of blows my mind. Gourmet Brands said sometimes when things are falling apart, they may actually be falling into place. I concur. I like that. That's actually beautiful. Cheers. I will cheers to that. Gourmet Brands. Thank you. Okay. Breaking. President Trump says the U.S. trade deficit is down 78% due to his tariffs, and it will go positive this year. That's crazy. Today, U.S. headline inflation based on real price data, U.S. CPI at 0.87% year over year. U.S. goods inflation, 0.72% 0.72% in general. U.S. services inflation, 0.94%. U.S. core inflation, excluding food and energy, 1.46%. We aggregate millions of prices with multiple data sources to obtain the most current and objective measure of U.S. consumer price inflation rate. Visit our website to learn more. I will say, this has, I believe, been less than 1% every single day this month. So the daily measure, I guess what I'm getting at is in March, February's actual official CPI reading from, I don't know, BLS, should be less than, it should be lower if the numbers are not actually made up. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Cointelegraph posted aggregate 30-day realized cap flows just flipped sharply negative, one of the deepest outflows since 2022. That's crazy. A dev just built this one's really cool. A dev just built the first AI that earns, self-improves, and replicates without humans. We are seeing the birth of super intelligent AI. Now, I don't know about the universal high basic income. I'm up in the air about that because it sounds too good to be true for me. I would love that, but I don't think it's ever going to happen just because when it comes to stuff like that, I'm a pessimist. This, on the other hand, people like programming and getting AI to like build stuff for them that makes them enough money to actually live off of, I could see that being the norm. And AIs just communicating with other AIs and us all making money off of each other mutually without having to actually do stuff. That is going to be crazy if that happens. That actually makes more sense. Like a global digital economy where everything is done like almost remotely and probably 90% by artificial intelligence. And because of that, people who work in like trades and stuff, like the actual human beings that do like physical work outside of a computer, will probably make so much freaking money. I don't know. I'm actually quite excited for the future. Like I feel like a weird calm whenever I really think about it. Just because I have so much faith in what I do. I don't know. It feels weird to feel that way. I like accidentally stumbled into like a lazy form of guaranteed future by not finishing college. This one's kind of cool. A little like in-depth update on Bitcoin development. BIP 360 co-author Ethan Heilman says upgrading Bitcoin to post-quantum could take 7 years. Recent breakthroughs suggest time is running out. I don't know if that's the case. I think Grok recently was published saying that it's like over 10 years away for quantum to even like remotely be feasible. Tom Selleck said the won't make so much money because all those people who worked on computers won't have money to spend. Oh, that's actually fair. Okay, let's do that last actually. Hyperliquid Foundation backs Hyperliquid Policy Center with 1 million hype, seeking stronger DeFi representation in Washington. Eric Trump says he has never been more bullish on Bitcoin, predicting it could reach 1 million despite expected volatility. Tom Selleck, you were the one that said 150K, weren't you? Median income in America. I think if they do it, it's going to be 40K a year. I think they're going to do 40K a year, which is half of the current median income in America. Current median income in America is apparently $83,000. So if they do that, then maybe sure. Maybe everybody gets 80K a year. But I feel like 43. And I will say if that happens, if everybody gets like 40 to 80K a year, housing is going to be so much worse than it is right now. Because everyone's going to be able to afford a house. I don't know. It's going to get funky. Eric Trump says he's never been more bullish on Bitcoin, predicting it could reach 1 million despite expected volatility, which means Bitcoin's probably going to zero. Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon says he owns very little Bitcoin, but is closely watching the asset and cited regulation as a key constraint. Interesting. That's living in poverty. That's probably where majority of Americans live. 80 is the median. So I don't think that they care because that's already what most people are making. If 80 is poverty, then damn, you guys got high standards. Canary Capital debuts Swiss, S-U-I-S, Swiss, on NASDAQ, marking the first U.S. spot ETF offered exposure to SWI. Very cool. Canary Capital, I feel like, that's a bad name. Because the canary in the coal mine warned you if there was bad things ahead. So Canary Capital to me is like if Canary Capital lists your asset, it's probably like that's probably a bad time to get in. You know what I mean? I don't know. It seems like a bad omen to me. Hyperscale Data launches a silver reserve plan targeting 100,000 ounces, while its total Bitcoin holdings rise to 600 Bitcoin. Pretty cool. NVIDIA is working with top Indian venture capitalists to fund AI startups as capital and government support for the sector ramps up. Base is transitioning off the OP stack to its own unified stack, but will continue working with Optimism for mission-critical support during the transition. That's kind of cool, but also goes into what I've been discussing whenever people are like, well, what chain do you think is going to do this, or what chain do you think is going to do that? I don't know if any chains are going to do anything. I think everyone, like big institutions or governments that want to get involved in blockchain, are going to develop their own. I don't think that they're going to put any reliance on any third-party software, blockchain tech, or anything like that, because that seems irresponsible almost. And I don't even own a company or anything like that. This one was weird. OpenAI and Paradigm launched EVM Bench, a test for AI finding and exploiting smart contract bugs. I read a little more into this. Apparently, they're going to find, exploit, and patch bugs. I don't know. It seemed a little odd to me. Like this. How easy would it be to tweak this and just use it to hack and steal money, like privately? Am I wrong? Update: weekly spot DEX transaction hit 38.1 million, with Polymarket alone driving 19.6 million, a new all-time high per Artemis. Is this why Vitalik kind of denounced? Is that why Polygon is doing so good? I wonder. Vitalik and ETH like denounced L2s basically. Alert: search interest for Bitcoin going to zero is now higher than it was in 2022. That's crazy. Arthur Hayes from like a tennis court says AI-driven job losses could spark a banking crisis, forcing the Fed to print money and eventually push Bitcoin higher. That's actually not a bad insight. This one's crazy. Altcoin sell pressure has reached a 5-year extreme, with 13 straight months of net spot selling on centralized exchanges and limited signs of institutional accumulation. OpenAI just taught the robots how to hack. OpenAI just released EVM Bench. The goal: agents that don't just find vulnerabilities, they exploit and patch them. There you go. From passive readers to active defenders, the $100 million bridge hack is about to go extinct. Bye-bye Lazarus Group. I think it's probably going to take a long time for this to integrate on everyone's system, but sure. A Polymarket account opened just 1 month ago has made over $500,000 trading crypto up-down markets. That's crazy. They probably just bet down on everything. It actually looks like they just bet down on everything. That's funny. It is 50-50, so you could make a decent amount of money doing that. I'm just saying. Prediction markets are probably going to be where all of the leverage traders go, because it's really easy to make money there, and it's really quick turnaround. You don't have to wait for the market to do anything. So again, if you guys want to help support the channel, sign up with the Kalshi referral link. Let's see. By market cap, crypto ranks 13th among the world's largest stock markets per crypto rank. We are right behind Saudi Arabia and above Australia. It's actually kind of impressive. Pretty crazy stuff. Altcoin volumes have fallen 50% as capital rotates back into Bitcoin, echoing past corrective phases, according to Crypto Quaint. Today, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says there is now a path forward for the crypto market structure bill where we can get a win-win outcome. A win for the crypto industry and a win for the banks. A win for the American consumer. That's a win-win-win, Mr. Brian Armstrong. 3 wins. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is 9. Extreme Fear, current price 66,340. Let's go see if that is still true. I don't remember when it updates. It is 9, yes. Yesterday it was at 8, so we are 1 less afraid here. And CoinMarketCap, we are 1 more afraid. So, very, very interesting. Yeah, went from 12 yesterday to 11 today. Went from 8 yesterday to 9 today. It's kind of funny to see them correlate the opposite. That's kind of goes to show you which one has its finger on the pulse a little more. Bitcoin looking a little bit green. Very, very hesitant to say that. 66,864. Me being hesitant might be the ultimate bull signal. Angry Crypto Show posted, Senator Bernie Moreno says, if I had money to put in the market today, I would buy Bitcoin. What a legend. He is... I don't know anything about him. Mark Chadwick posted, this is actually an insane chart. It shows the past year of buying versus selling in altcoins. Selling has completely dominated to levels we've never seen before. We should be at 0 by now, right? The reality is, altcoin market cap is holding up well under these conditions and even breaking out of a 4-year falling wedge. We're near a turning point. Clarity, lower rates, Fed expansion, PMI back above 50. If the goal is buying low and selling high, this is what the low looks like. Massive upside is just around the corner. I like that. I like the sentiment, but we have seen in the past The lows last a lot longer than the highs. The highs happen very, very quickly, which is why I think dollar cost averaging works, because you dollar cost average in a very, very slow grind, and then you pop, and then you sell, hopefully, near the top, and then it dumps right back down. That is why dollar cost averaging works, because the downside and the flat line near the bottom lasts a lot longer than the upside. Okay. Parabolic XBT posted 2026, the year of accumulation. Ironically, for most, it will be the year of capitulation. 2015, altcoins equaled dead and will never come back. 2018, altcoins dead and will never come back. 2022, altcoins dead and will never come back. 2026, altcoins dead and will never come back. And then they'll ask why they always miss the bull run. The narrative never changes, neither does what comes next. The same pattern they launch every major altcoin explosion is setting up right now. Others has reset to the exact RSI level that marked every single cycle bottom in history. This is what opportunity looks like before everyone sees it. Don't be consumed by fear now. Be excited. You get to accumulate altcoins at these historical discount levels. Be careful who you follow. Fear is what has held people back from making real gains every single cycle. Look at the data. The expansion phase is coming. The only question is whether you'll be positioned for it. Parabolic. Hell yeah. Gourmet Brand said, I think Apple stock is a good buy. They're going to launch agentic AI. Where they have Siri connect all your apps into one. They are working with Gemini/Google. They're going to own the market on consumer AI. I think Google is actually going to. I don't disagree that Apple is a good buy. Everyone's always going to love their iPhone, no matter how shitty they make them. But Google also makes a phone. And I think Gemini is the best AI out there right now. Just based on my experience building stuff with it. And I think Apple made the right choice. Kind of like working with them, rather than trying to work against them and develop their own. That might be the smartest thing that anyone's done out of all this AI stuff. Apple stepping back, being like, you know what, you guys got this handled. We're going to stick with like the design and development of our tech. You guys, we want to partner with you and have you do our artificial intelligence. So I actually agree with you. Okay. Good read from Parabolic. Expansion phase. Let's see what happens. That'd be pretty sick. Bar chart, equity put call ratio jumps to highest level this year and one of the highest levels since June. Pretty crazy. 30-year mortgage rates fall to 6.37%, the lowest level since September 2024. That's exciting. Hopefully it continues to go down. Real estate stocks hit highest prices since 2024. That's also exciting. Is that exciting? I don't know if that's exciting, actually. Turkish lira falls to an all-time low against the US dollar, now down 97% since 2010. That's crazy. Roughly 60% of fund managers now expect bond yields to go higher over the long term, the most since February 2022. All right. Oh, geez. Breaking U.S. banks. Fed Reserve just pumped $18.5 billion into the U.S. banking system this week through overnight repos. This is the fourth largest liquidity injection since the pandemic and surpassed even the peak of the dot-com bubble. Probably fine. Carry on. Honestly, money printer, go burr. John 316 X 221 said, smash the like. JJ is the best. Appreciate you, John. Happy Wednesday, my friend. Current state of things. This is so freaking true. Everyone and their brother is saying the bottom is in, and everyone else and their brother is saying the bottom isn't in. It's just, I have no words. It's just silly at this point. This cracked me up. How to be immune to AI. AI will take your job. What job? Absolutely epic. Just go lay in random places in nature, man. This one was the freaking best. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Gotta love a good meme. Anyways, guys, I suppose that's it. Let's read our Grok update. I asked Grok, do you think that Bitcoin and the broader cryptocurrency market is going by the traditional 4-year cycle, or does the liquidity business cycle hold more water? What do you think will happen with the market this year? Grok said yes. This is Grok 4.2, by the way. This is the Grok that won a bunch of AI trading contests, the only profitable one that we've seen. Yes, Bitcoin and crypto broadly is still tracking the traditional 4-year cycle in terms of timing and phases, but the liquidity business cycle explains the why and how much far better now, especially as the market has matured. What? Why and how? Oh, I understand. The liquidity slash business cycle explains the why and how much far better now, especially as the market has matured. God, that was really hard to read. I feel like an idiot. The halving cycle has been remarkably consistent since 2012. Supply shock every 4 years, followed by a bull run peaking 12 to 18 months later, then a 50 to 80% drawdown into the next halving. The April 2024 halving fits the script perfectly. Bitcoin rallied hard 2024 to 2025, hit a cycle all-time high around 126K, and in early October 2025, roughly 18 months post-halving, just like 2017 and 2021, and has since corrected sharply as of February 18th, 2026. Bitcoin is trading around 66,000 to 67,500, down 47 to 50% from the peak, which aligns with the expected post-euphoric corrective phase. These charts, one showing historical halving overlays with color-coded days to next halving, another with percentage gains drawdown per cycle, illustrated how 2025 to 2026 is playing out to a T, so far makes analysts Kaiko Research, Canary Capital, on-chain folks explicitly say the latest sell-off confirms rather than breaks the pattern, classic post-peak deleveraging. That said, the liquidity business cycle holds more explanatory power today. Bitcoin has evolved from a niche, retail-driven asset into a macro correlated risk-on play. Institutional adoption, spot ETFs approved 2024, now moving 10 to 12 times daily mining supply. Corporate treasuries and national state interest mean price is driven far more by global liquidity, M2 Fed balance sheet credit impulse, interest rates, risk appetite, and fiscal flows, than by having supply shocks alone, which are now tiny relative to market cap and ETF flows. Historical 4-year rhythm often lined up with U.S. election liquidity cycles anyway, but as Bitcoin market cap ballooned, macro dominance grew. Current correlation with global liquidity indices, often a 10-week lag, is extremely high, 91% in recent cycles. For 2026 specifically, expect a volatile, mostly corrective, consolidative year. More bear leg of the cycle than euphoric bull, but with real recovery potential later rather than total capitulation. Near term, Q1, Q2, pressure likely continues, leveraged unwind, ETF outflows during dips, lingering cycle fears, many traders positioned for a bad year 3 post-halving. And any macro hiccups could push toward 50 to 60K tests. This matches historical drawdowns, patterns, and current sentiment. Mid to late 2026, bottoming and gradual recovery plausible. Fed ended quantitative tightening in December 2025 and started reserve management purchases, buying T-bills to keep reserves ample. Liquidity is stabilizing / turning supportive. Rates are steady, 3.5 to 3.75 range. Data dependent, some easing priced in later but not guaranteed. Pro-crypto U.S. policies, strategic Bitcoin reserve signals, regulatory tailwinds add a floor. Global liquidity indicators are improving. If macro stays risk on, we could see a grind higher toward 90 to 120K by year end, or higher in bullish scenarios. Base case, range-bound volatility with a higher low than bears fear. Not the parabolic 24 to 25 move, but constructive for long-term holders. Super cycle, this time is different narratives have faded. The cycle evolved but didn't die. Bottom line, the 4-year halving framework is still a useful calendar for phases and has been eerily accurate again. Liquidity macro business cycle is a stronger fundamental lens now. Bitcoin behaves like leveraged tech / gold, hybrid more than pure digital gold, or a halving machine. The two reinforce each other. Halving keeps the long-term scarcity narrative alive, while liquidity dictates the amplitude and timing tweaks. This is not financial advice. Crypto is volatile, blah, blah, blah. Dip buying on... Okay, hold on. And past cycles aren't guaranteed, but the data and history suggest 2026 is a year for patience. Dip buying on strong hands and positioning for the next leg up into 2027, 2028, rather than expecting immediate moonshots. Long-term adoption trends, institutional payments, real-world assets remain overwhelmingly bullish. Okay, what do you think about the U.S. debt being pushed forward by 1 year, potentially extending the Bitcoin cycle, and Bitcoin actually topping or making a higher high this year based on that? Also, what about Bitcoin's correlation with the Japanese M2 money supply? Correlation is wrong. I don't know if it's Bitcoin or the total crypto market cap. Bitcoin / cryptos correlation with the Japanese M2 money supply. Okay, let's see. That Pulse Player said, I thank you for your hard work, bud. We are going to make it. I agree, my friend. I agree. Cheers. Happy Wednesday, guys. Oh, limit reached. What? All right. Well, we'll have to ask it another time. I'll save this and I'll ask it tomorrow. How about that? I could sign in, but I'm not going to. I'm going to call it. I'm getting in trouble already as it is. As always, guys, when the market starts to do anything crazy or anything at all, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Wednesday and good night.